These monster waves will blow your mind! Our planet's oceans, in their vastness, are responsible for some of the most severe weather on Earth. But it just so happens that most of the time, there's nobody around to witness these extreme conditions as they play out at sea. You might want to stick till the end, because the waves from the Antarctic Ocean are probably something you've never seen before. At any given time, there are tens of thousands of large and small ships sailing our planet's oceans, and while the conditions are fine and calm most of the time, there are some instances when the brilliant sunny skies and the cool winds completely disappear from the surface of the ocean. In these instances, all that is left are often severe hurricane conditions that take out the courage in even the bravest ship captains. But still, they weather through them and bring us footage like this. Check it out. The North Sea is one of the most turbulent water bodies anywhere on Earth. It's where the near-Arctic conditions from the northern Atlantic and Scandinavian nations meet mild waters from the Gulf Stream. This unusual collision is what produces the incredibly fierce weather conditions that the North Sea has widely become known for. The North Sea is also popular for the many gigantic oil rigs that dot its surface, whose constant drilling likewise contributes to the turbulent waves that have become peculiar to this sea. Even while these rigs are well secured to the ocean floor, mostly rise to as high as 60 feet above sea level and are larger than ships. They're also at the mercy of the turbulent and pounding waves at the North Sea. Despite their height, the spray from the pounding waves often reaches up onto the deck of these rigs, and in some rare instances, they can get completely concealed beneath the water by the gigantic waves of the North Sea. In this clip, we get a very rare glimpse into what it feels like to sail through extreme hurricane conditions. This ship right here is an emergency response and rescue vehicle that was specifically built and designed for weathering sea conditions and monstrous waves like this one. With its sturdy build, this ship can weather the toughest hurricane conditions, rescue any helpless vessels caught in the turbulent waves here at the North Sea, or any other sea for that matter. Rescue ships, aside from being specifically built to withstand these extreme weather conditions at sea, are also manned by captains and crews that are also specially trained to maintain their composure and focus on the job at hand. This is even as the storm swells and pounds the ship, pound after pound. Even as they get tossed around on the ship and the sea storm makes the conditions on board very discomforting, the captain and his crew is to bear whatever with the job, and are never to break the codes or ethics of their profession. As for the rest of us, we can only tell the tale based on footage like this. We weren't exaggerating when we mentioned that the North Sea has some of the world's most unpredictable weather. This next clip was not only shot in the North Sea like our first clip, but it was also shot from the deck of an emergency response and rescue vehicle as it scoured the ocean for vessels that might be in distress. This footage was captured during a 3-day mission that was specially organized to search for nearby ships in distress. To make matters more challenging, the ship was conducting its hazardous patrol in the middle of January, one of the coldest months of the year. During this time, sea spray that collects on ships' edges is more likely to freeze, making many ships heavier and more vulnerable to toppling over during even the slightest storm. In this instance though, quite fortunately, the temperature was just warm enough and the crew didn't have to worry about this. How can we possibly overlook tsunamis when discussing enormous waves? After a big earthquake has caused water to shift, tsunamis begin far out at sea. Few individuals have actually ever seen one of these tsunamis when they're that far out. This footage was captured in the North Sea in March 2011, as a Japanese Coast Guard ship was braving through extremely stormy weather at this frequently turbulent sea. From the clip caught on a mobile phone camera, it was obvious that the horizon appears to be slightly off. This was because the sea had risen quite high in the distance to the left, making it appear as though there was a small mountain over the water. Upon observing this, the captain realized that his only option was to sail directly towards it and ride over the waves. To the captain, this wave was nothing the ship couldn't handle. It was simply another swell just to sail over. However, this wasn't the case with this wave, which would ultimately result in billions of dollars worth of damage on the mainland, in addition to the deaths of thousands of people. This footage remains one of the rare instances where we've ever been able to witness the beginnings of one of the most catastrophic disasters in recent history. It appears that the North Sea is not the only ocean where extreme weather can produce enormous waves that reach the heights of a tower. When seamen on board a chemical tanker watched helplessly as enormous waves pummeled their ship out in the Atlantic Ocean in April 2021, the whole event was caught on camera. This video provides some excellent insight into the kinds of situations that sailors usually encounter at sea. Wave after wave crashed against this ship, spraying water and mist onto the deck. The sound of the wind howling and the ship cracking as it's tossed around can be heard in the background. When you see this, you can't help but wonder what it was like to travel across the sea many years ago, when ships were considerably smaller and constructed of wood. What a scary experience it would have been. Things are much easier now with the sophisticated ships that are readily available today. Even though cargo ships are among the biggest ships now navigating the world's oceans, they aren't completely safe from the choppy waters and strong waves. As such, captains still need to be able to navigate them safely without causing any serious damage to the cargo or the ship. The Bay of Biscay is an area just off the coast of France and Spain. This clip was shot atop a fully loaded cargo ship that had just left the bay on a voyage to deliver its payload. Just hours after it departed the bay, this gigantic cargo ship came upon heavy storms. The ship was already in a bad state when the video started, as it was fast being thrown about by the waves and rough seas. However, the ship's bulky cargo was where the actual threat laid. The ship was in danger of capsizing, especially as the tumultuous waves were quickly upsetting its weight distribution, an issue of the utmost importance in loaded ships. Even though cargo ships seldom sink, there have been numerous near misses, and this ship would eventually live to travel the seas for a lot longer. In the Antarctic Ocean, waves can rise as high as 50 feet, largely due to the effect of wind and friction. As the wind blows against the current, it transfers energy through friction, and as it blows longer and faster, it creates even more friction that ultimately results in giant waves. This video was captured aboard the 279-foot Royal New Zealand Navy warship, whose construction took well over a decade before it was ultimately completed in 2010. This vessel's primary goal is to navigate the icy waters of the Antarctic Ocean on rescue operations. However, when out on a mission in December 2015, this massive ship faced what's been regarded as the harshest weather condition ever seen in the region. The ship's crew came upon a 65-foot monster wave as it tried to navigate the Arctic storm. From the footage alone, it's evident that the crew already sighted the raging wave from afar and was bracing for impact. And even though the 65-footer was unable to topple this ship, it set off every single alarm on the ship's deck. While meteorologists would often measure wind speed on the ocean and relay those readings back to ships, making other vessels and boats know too well to stay back until the storm clears, this Norwegian rescue ship never turns back, as the turbulent waves are what signals that it has a job to do. See you in the next video.